Hey there, it's Adrienne Furry, and I have got 10 great tips to share with you today on how to break out of your style and makeup rut. We've all been there. This happens to the best of us. It's I would say, one of the biggest sources of frustration that I hear from, my clients and women that I talk with. It's just being in a rut. It's like I'm doing the same thing all the time and I'm bored. So I've got 10 ideas to share with you right now that are quick, simple little changes that you can make right now. You've probably got everything you need in your house right now to make these changes, and they're going to help to just give you that good immediate boost that you're looking for. So tip number one is play with parting your hair in a different way. So for example, for myself, I usually typically always wear my hair down the center. It's just something I really like the way it looks. It hangs comfortably that way. But every once in a while, it's really fun to change it up. So to actually do like a side part or something like that, you'll be amazed at what a difference it makes. It changes the whole look of your face. Your hair will lie differently. Tiny little change that all it takes is a comb, and it's almost like you've got a new hairstyle overnight. Tip number two is reach for something that's got some color. So I love neutrals. I think neutrals are sophisticated and they create the backbone of a really solid wardrobe. So nothing wrong with neutrals, but if you're feeling in a rut, particularly maybe around your clothing, I'd be willing to take a guess that you've been wearing a lot of the same pieces of clothes probably in more sort of neutral, understated colors. Maybe you live in a climate where it's been cold and you're coming out of the winter months. Whatever's been happening for you, but put away those neutrals and start to reach for something that's a little bit different. Reach for maybe the lighter shades, the whites, the creams, or go for a color like something bright, something that just really lifts your spirits, and it's something that you always get compliments in. Tip number three, so this is a makeup tip. Do your eyebrows, right? And so I'm not just, by eyebrows, I don't just mean go and get them waxed or shaped. I mean, actually fill them in. So using like a brow pencil, brow shadow, fill them in and do this confidently. You will be amazed what a difference, if you're not used to doing this, or if you've only ever done it very tentatively, what going in and doing a more bold eyebrow will do for your face. Whenever I teach makeup, either to my private clients or in group settings, this is always, I would say, sort of like the showstopper of the lesson is eyebrows, because when you understand how to confidently do eyebrows, it changes everything. More often than not, when we look at a woman and we're like, wow, she looks so pulled together, specifically her makeup, she looks great. Often what we're really seeing is really well done eyebrows. Doesn't mean the rest of the makeup doesn't matter. Of course it does, but the eyebrows, if you can get those eyebrows right, makes such a difference. Tip number four is shake up your getting ready in the morning routine. So, if you're in the habit of every morning you wake up, you go make your coffee, you eat your breakfast, and then you go brush your teeth and put in the contacts, and then you go get dressed and you do your makeup, kind of the order that we have things on. We have autopilot, right? It's kind of necessary. We do need autopilot to get through our days and our lives. But shake it up, right? Like shake up the routine of getting ready in the morning. Maybe for a change, lay your clothes out the night before. Put them on the bed and say, okay, I'm going to wear these things tomorrow. Or in the morning, maybe get dressed first thing and just see how that feels, right? Like just shake it up, because part of being in a rut is like where you're in a habit and you're bored. And there's something about that habit that's not really serving you anymore. It's not working for you. And we need to do things that whatever we can do to kind of interrupt the patterns that you are in. So tip number five is shop your own closet. So what does that mean? We all have, if you have a closet that is not maybe the most kind of well put together closet for you, I'd be willing to hazard a guess that you're probably on average wearing the same 20 or 30% of your clothes, and the other 80% are just sitting there, and maybe they're getting worn once in a blue moon, or maybe if we're really honest, they're really not getting worn much at all. So to help shake up boredom, a really great tip is go into your own closet. I bet you've got some great pieces in there that you haven't worn for a long time. Pull those out, play around, experiment by combining pieces, for example, that you haven't worn together before. You know, like a great example is layering, say, a long sleeve shirt like this, for example, like a thin long sleeve top underneath a dress, for example, or maybe like a vest or a tank top or something like that. All of a sudden, you've created a brand new outfit out of pieces that you've always had, but just maybe never worn before. Tip number 6 is take off the pieces of jewelry that you always wear, those sentimental pieces. You know, if you're married, maybe you want to leave your wedding ring on. I do, I would, but you know, the rest of those pieces that you always wear by default, you know, maybe it's a necklace that you just always wear, or it's a watch that you always wear. Take it off and challenge yourself to wear some of the accessories that you have, but you just frankly don't necessarily play around with that much. I'd be willing to bet that you have got a great collection of accessories. I know when I go into my clients' closets, I'm always like, okay, where are the accessories? And they're like, oh yeah, well, I've got this drawer over here. And they'll pull out this drawer of all these often really great fun pieces, fun necklaces, fun bracelets, fun earrings, but they're really not wearing them. So if I'm guessing you're anything like that, maybe you are, maybe you're not, but if you are, play with those pieces. Take off the sort of more sentimental pieces that you wear by default and start wearing some of the jewelry that you've already got. Play with your other accessories, play with your belts, your purses, sunglasses, all of those things. It's a really great way to breathe fresh life into your wardrobe. Number 7 is another makeup idea. Shake up your lipstick. So if you're not a lipstick wearer, maybe it's time to play with lipstick. I love lipstick. I think it's one of the quickest, easiest ways to give a really great boost to your mood and to your appearance, right? So, you know, and like I've asked women, for example, I've asked them the question, you know, what is your favorite, no, not favorite, that's not even the right word, but what is the, you know, best money spent under $100 on your appearance? And more women than just a few have said lipstick. Like there's something about lipstick that, you know, it just has the ability for a relatively small price to bring a really big impact. And so play with color. You know, we've all got those default colors that we love to go to that just kind of live in our purse that we always just reach for. It's great to have those colors, but shake it up. Find something new. Go into your makeup bag, dig out one of those lipsticks that you haven't worn for a long time. Maybe if it's been a really long time, it might be time to actually toss that lipstick. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. But, you know, pull out some of those lipsticks and play around, play with some fresh color. Number 8, this is something I love to do is, you know, it's important to stay inspired. So, I mean, you're watching this video, you said yes to getting this information, which is a great start. But go out to like a favorite local coffee shop, you know, take a notebook, get a coffee or whatever you like to drink and sit and just observe. Take in your environment. What do you see? You know, what women do you see? What men do you see? What are they wearing? What do you like? What don't you like? Get some fresh ideas, because often when we're in a rut, we're just, you know, we've been busy. You've probably been really busy. You've been, you know, going hard and, you know, you've just been on autopilot. And you know, often just having some fresh ideas, a fresh perspective, maybe an expert perspective, whatever that looks like, but, you know, get yourself inspired. And I know for me, one of the best ways to do that is to be out in community, right? Like, don't be isolated. So get out, meet people, you know, go to those coffee shops, see what you can see, reach out, connect, all those good things. Number 9 is do an inventory of your wardrobe and take note of what you have an overabundance of. So for example, I had a client, we went through her closet and I was like, what is going on here? You've got like, I'm going to say probably at least a dozen, and I'm not exaggerating, big white chunky knit sweaters. She had mountains of these sweaters, like not just one or two. There was like literally a dozen of them at least, and they were all very similar. And she laughed and she said, yeah, I've got kind of a thing for, you know, these kind of sweaters. And I said, okay, great. You know, are you wearing all of these? And she's like, well, no, not really. And it was a bit of a kind of a cheeky question because nobody needs 12 of the identical sweater. So go to your own wardrobe, take a look. What do you keep buying over and over and over and over again? Because we all have those pieces that are either a crutch, like we wear them, we do legitimately wear them a lot, but then it's also kind of boring because you're wearing the same thing all the time. Or there's something kind of maybe almost kind of like aspirational about it. Like there's this idea that we have wrapped up in a certain article of clothing, you know, maybe like the chunky knit sweater, like we're going to go for these brisk walks outside, or, you know, on a nice fall day. We can kind of paint a bit of a fantasy image around clothing, which is okay, but we don't want to have a whole wardrobe full of these kind of fantasy pieces. So do this inventory. And then when it is time to go shopping, here's a tip: don't keep buying more of those pieces, right? Stop. You've already got lots. Maybe it's time to do a bit of a wardrobe clean out and clear out some of the pieces that are overly represented. And you know, don't keep buying the same things. I know it sounds like Captain Obvious, but this is something that when you can bring awareness to it, it can help to really shift your wardrobe in a really meaningful way. And then the last thing is, and this is, you know, more on the kind of personal reflective side of things, is get clear for yourself, you know, why you want a change. What is it that's feeling like it's not working for you? What are the goals that you've got that you want to be working towards? What is it that you want to be bringing into your life? Maybe that, you know, say, you know, maybe you've been married and you want to bring a little more passion back into your relationship, and you want to feel, you know, a little more attractive again, or not a little, a lot more attractive, and you want to get those great compliments again. Or maybe you are, you know, maybe you are looking for love. You're starting to think about dating again. Or maybe you are, you know, job hunting. It's time to get back out into the workforce. Or you are taking a big jump up in career and it's time to really take your look up a notch. You know, maybe you're self-employed and you want to be starting to attract a higher level of clientele. Get clear on what is kind of where the discontent is coming from around feeling in a rut, and pay attention to that, because when you can get clear on what that big goal is, what your big why is, that is what's going to help you to take these changes seriously and not let it just be a whim. Because, you know, it's kind of like the New Year's resolution thing. We don't want that, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm going to make these big sweeping changes. And then a week or two later, it's like, kind of back to the same old, same old. I don't want that for you. You don't want that for you. When you have that urge to break out of a rut, listen to it and get clear for yourself, or try to get as clear as you can around what is driving this desire for change, because that is what is going to help you really see these changes through in a meaningful way. That's going to have you looking in the mirror, loving what you see, opening your closet, feeling like really excited about the clothing options that you've got. You're gonna, you'll end up having that sense of style that's really you, that's memorable, that's attractive. You're gonna feel confident. All these great things are gonna come when you can stay attached to what that bigger why is, what that big reason is. All right, so thank you so much, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.